Hello friends, I welcome you all to this online session of a drama paper BA Part 3 Special English. In the last session we have started discussing comedy as a form of a drama, and we learn about comedy from different theorists or different playwrights or different intellectuals across the period. We learn what Aristotle is saying in his Poetics. We learn about Horace speaking about this comedy. Molière speaking Sydney. We learn about Johnson. We learn about Dryden, and we try to understand the form of comedy, or we try to define the comedy. So this is what we have already learned in the last session. So now let us think from a modern perspective for a comedy. See, modern scholars believe that the purpose of a comedy is to correct vices, therefore should not exclude any class. So this is what you can see is the modern scholars are thinking about the comedy. And if we think about comedy and its function, you can see most of the critics, even across the period, I'm not speaking only about the modern scholars, but you can also think from a Greek scholar or a Roman scholar. They also think that a comedy is not only meant for the entertainment, it is not only meant for laugh at something, but it is meant to teach something. And therefore, you can see it is meant to correct the voices. So this is Aristotle is saying the same thing, and these modern scholars also believe in the same thing. The satire is an important instrument in comedy because nothing reforms majority of men like the portrayal of their faults. So the comedy appears on the stage as a portrayal of the faults of a common man, faults of the people, and through this portrayal, comedian, satirist try to teach the student that what should not be, or how should be behaved, or what should not be, what should be avoided. So this is what we learn from a comedy. So in simple words, we should think, when we are thinking in the terms of a modern scholars, you can see satire is an important instrument in a comedy because nothing reforms majority of men like the portrayal of their faults, and the comedies on the stage appears as a portrayal of the faults of people. It is easy for people to endure being made fun of. So this is what you can see. Many people may have no objection to being considered wicked, but are not willing to be considered ridiculous. And what comedy do? Comedy ridicule the person, uh, ridicule the people, and as a result of that, it inserted, or it left a huge impression on the minds of the audience. So, and as a result of that, you can see from the Greek literature or from the Roman literature, you can see it is counted one of the most important, or one of the important genres of literature. It also gained a place in the Aristotle's four genre of literature. So this is what the reason, because people were ridiculed in the comedy, and comedy left a huge impression on the minds of the audience. The audience is thus expected to learn from the stupidity of the characters and try to avoid such pitfalls, because nobody likes to be made an object of ridicules. So this is what the theory, this is what the method through which this comedy try to teach to the audience. So after watching the comedy, audience also started or trying to avoid pitfalls, trying to avoid the stupidity that were enacted on the stage by the characters of the comedy. So this is what nobody want to be an object of ridicule, and as a result of that, this comedy appears as a of a medium of a teaching to the masses. So this is what you can say is the important thing that we should learn, or as a function of a comedy. Generally speaking, comedy adopts a different approach from that of a serious drama. This is what is happening. Comedy adopts different approaches from that of a serious drama. So it presents the incongruity in people and situations. In doing this, the playwright suspend the natural laws. For instance, a man falls flat on the floor but does not really hurt himself. So this is what such kind of thing were presented in a comedy. And many times when we saw a man fall on a street uh, by sleeping his legs on a banana leaf or banana on a banana, you can see we laugh because that mechanical activity of falling over created a fun. So similar thing is also used in the comedy. Such kind of things were used in comedy. But while doing that, playwright suspended the natural laws. A man falls flat on the floor but does not really hurt himself. So this is what you can see a comedy is doing. Comedy is usually presented as a moral satire used to attack voices like greed, hypocrisy, lust, laziness, or ignorance. You can see when we read about a Shakespeare's Joker, Falstaff, can see all this greed is there, hypocrisy is there, lust is there, laziness is there, ignorance is there, everything, and he is trying to satirize or he is making ridicule of a false stuff. And by exposing or by representing false stuff, you can see false stuff is representing voices of a man. And Shakespeare, through this character of a Falstaff, teach us to avoid such a kind of voices. Avoid greed, avoid hypocrisy, avoid lust, laziness, and ignorance. How it looks like in the society, it is represented in the on the stage. So the aim is to correct social ills, social injustice, or to ridicule a particular human fault or social imbalance. And for as a result of that, you can see the characters in the comedy. Many times when we think about a Shakespearean comedy or comedy written in a modern period, you can see the characters or the protagonist represent an idea or character represent the voices. They stands for voices on the stage. So this is what the you can see, they want to correct social ills, social injustice, or trying to ridicule a particular human fault. They were not trying to ridicule a particular human. Falstaff stands for all these voices. Falstaff is not a single man or single individual, but he stands for the voices like greed, hypocrisy, lust, laziness, or ignorance present in every human being. And as a result of that, you can see when we see Falstaff, we also try to avoid greed, hypocrisy, lust, laziness, and ignorance. So they were not against a human individual, but it is against the human society. It is regarding a general representation of a person's voices. So it thrives on exaggeration of a situation and character to show mankind worse than it really is. Of course, yes. Tragedy shows man. We also read a sentence that tragedy always show a man that less than he is in actual life. And at the exactly opposite, you can see comedy exaggerate situation and characters to show mankind worse than it is in reality. So this is what you can see, and due to this, he highlights the voices of the person. So since drama is a conscious and deliberate presentation of events, experience based mostly on real life, but not the same with the real life. This is also very important. Mostly real life, mostly on experience based, mostly on real life, but not the same with the real life. So it is just based on real life. One should therefore not expect comedy to be the same with the real life. So this is what this should be understood well, that comedy is representing. Comedy is not the same that we find the similar social realism. We were not expecting from comedy a social realism, but it is in fact an exaggeration of a personal voices. To and from that particular portrayal of a false, dramatists try to teach to a common man. We recognize a comedy through its style, characterization, and dialogue. Of course, yes. In both real life and drama, comedy should indicate a kind of a pleasure which finds physical expression in a laughter or smile. So this is what you can see is a comedy. Understand that we will also read or we will also watch one video on a Tempest. Tempest is a comedy by Shakespeare. It was also prescribed for the last year, but this is not, which is not, it is not prescribed to this year. So we will watch it in connection to the definition of a comedy. We will try to understand the features, we will try to understand the elements of a comedy. So after reading all these things, after reading the element, all these uh, scholars, Horace and Sidney and Ben Jonson and Dryden and Aristotle, and after understanding the modern perspective on a drama, we can define a comedy. When we speak of a comedy, when after reading all these things, we generally mean a play which has a pleasant atmosphere and a happy ending. So this is a very important. These are the two most important things that we should keep in our mind. That it is in a pleasant atmosphere. Everybody is laughing. They were not enacting a very sad scene on the stage, but they were enacting a very light, uh, humorous, pleasant atmosphere on the stage. And it should be essentially ends with a happy tone. It should be ends with a happiness. So this is what the essential markers of a comedy that we learn from this extract. In the most common literary application, a comedy is a work in which the material are selected and managed primarily in order to interest, involve, and amuse us. This is very important point here. Material are selected and managed primarily in order to interest, involve, and amuse us. So this is the function of a comedy. The characters and their discomfitures engage our pleasurable attention rather than our profound concern. So when we were watching a tragedy, we were profoundly concerned with the scene. But here we were not profoundly concerned, but here we were giving a pleasurable attention. So this is the difference between a tragedy and comedy. In tragedy, we were concerned. However, in comedy, you can see we were attending a pleasurable event on the stage. So we are made a feel too confident that no great disaster will occur, and usually the action turns out happily for the chief characters. So this is what the structure of a comedy. It is not, especially when we think about a tragedy, especially Shakespeare's Macbeth. You can see from the start, from the beginning, from the first scene itself, Shakespeare start giving hints to us that it is a tragedy, it is not a comedy. So the first scene of a witch song, bubble, bubble, double the trouble. So this is double the trouble means you can understand this is the very hint that is given to us. Very suspicious, superstitious atmosphere is fearful atmosphere was created on the stage. So you can understand that this fearful atmosphere hint us that Shakespeare is writing a tragedy. It is not a comedy. However, when we think about a comedy, especially when we think about a Tempest, though it started with a tempest, you can see from the very beginning, Shakespeare start giving us a hint that this is not a tragedy, this is a comedy. So this is a structure, this is a stereotype of a comedy that we should understand well. So it is usually the action turns out happily for the chief character, and it constantly give us a confidence that what we were looking is not a great disaster, but it is just a light comedy uh, that will entertain us, that will help us to understand human voices. So we will see one more definition of comedy that is written by W.T. Jung. See, comedy is a drama in which the characters are placed in more or less humorous situations. The moment is light and often mirthful, and the play ends in a general goodwill and happiness. So you can understand every aspect of a comedy is covered here. Comedy is a drama in which the characters are placed in more or less humorous situation. The moment is light The moments is light and often mirthful, and the play ends in general goodwill and happiness. So this is what the stereotypical structure of a comedy. After that, we are supposed to learn types of comedy. So we are supposed to learn seven types of comedy. First is a romantic comedy. Second is a comedy of manners. Third is a satiric comedy. Fourth is a farce. Fifth is a comedy of humors. Sixth is a sentimental comedy. Seventh is a tragic comedy or a dark comedy. So we will begin with a romantic comedy. What is it? See, the term romantic comedy is a somewhat vague application or application which denotes a form of a drama in which love is the main theme and love leads to happy ending. So love is the main theme of such a comedy, and these comedies were called as a romantic comedy because they were focusing on romance. They were focusing on romantic moments of protagonist, and therefore it is titled as a romantic comedy. So perhaps the most popular of comic forms, both on stage and on screen, is the romantic comedy. Of course, is what we watch in Bollywood movies. Most of the Bollywood movies were a romantic comedy. So you can understand it is very popular on the stage and on screen. We love it. We watch it very frequently. The term romantic comedy is somewhat vague application which denote a form of a drama in which love is the main theme and love leads to a happy ending. Of course, yes, all these things related to the love. So, romantic comedy was developed by Shakespeare uh, on the model of a contemporary prose romance such as Thomas Lodge's Rosalinde 1590, the source of Shakespeare's As You Like It 1599. So this Rosalinde was adapted by Shakespeare. Thomas Lodge's Rosalinde was adapted by Shakespeare in a play As You Like It. So this is also a romantic comedy. It is also available on YouTube. If you are interested in watching a comedy, you can search it on YouTube. You will get it, the play of enacted play of As You Like It. So such a comedy represents a love affair that involves a beautiful and engaging heroine, uh, sometimes disguised as a man. For example, The Merchant of Venice. You can see Portia, the heroine, is disguised as a man or as a friend of a Antonio. So Bassanio and Antonio. So this is what you can see is a general stereotypical characterization of a romantic comedy. The course of this love does not run smooth, yet overcomes all difficulties to end in a happy union. The Merchant of Venice is the very best example of it. You can see there is a very famous, basically this the Merchant of Venice is remembered for its villain, not for its hero. Hero is Antonio and villain is a Shylock. So if you want, you can read it online instead of I tell you the story. So there also you can see Bassanio and this Portia fell into love, and their love does not run smooth. They have to face different hurdles, but uh, at the end, happy union is uh, presented by the dramatist. So these plays are generally concerned with love affairs that involve a beautiful and idealized heroine. The course of this love does not run smooth but untimely overcomes all difficulties to end in a happy union. Of course, in the end of the Merchant of Venice, you can see there is a happy union. So in this genre, the primary distinguishing feature is a love plot in which two sympathetic and well-matched lovers are united or reconciled. So this is what the stereotypical plot line of the romantic comedy is. Two lovers, sympathetic and well-matched lovers, are united or reconciled. So this is the stereotype of a plot of the such a play. In a typical romantic comedy, the two lovers tend to be young, likable, and apparently meant for each other. So this is what, yet they are kept apart by some complicating circumstances. For example, class differences, parental interference, previous girlfriend or boyfriend. You can see most of the Bollywood movies were based on such a kind of things. So we don't need to explain more about romantic comedy. You can watch any Bollywood movie. You will. I am not saying all, but many of them are romantic comedies. Until so, this is what the circumstances, complicated circumstances were presented. Until surmounting all obstacles, they are finally wedded. So this is what the final scene of most of the romantic comedies were: wedding. There is one movie you can see, Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi, that is a reconciliation of the two lovers. So in the end of the movie, the actress feel that he is in love with her lawful husband. So this is what a twist. A wedding bells fairy tale style happy ending is particularly mandatory for such kind of a drama. Much Ado About Nothing, or Walt's Disney Cinderella, Guys and Dolls, Sleepless in Settle. All these are the examples of a romantic comedy. So we will stop here, and the next session we will continue with the second type of comedy, that is a comedy of a manners. Thank you for listening.